Hey everybody, and welcome to Leia's Lair. Here is our review of the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Part 3. We hope you enjoy. So this episode opens up with Obi and Leia on the transport, and Obi-Wan is still trying to contact Qui-Gon, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like you definitely feel like he's gonna contact him at some point based on this. That's the second time we've seen him trying to contact him for some guidance, right? So I'm getting the impression that he hasn't been able to contact him yet.
I agree.
In this whole 10 years, and I feel like this is kind of that story about him getting back into his Jedi ways and then being able to contact him. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was something that we finish on, in the 6th episode of this series, where he's finally going to be able to contact him after he's faced his demons, right?
And you definitely hear other Jedi in the background. Like, we definitely hear Anakin, we hear Yoda, so it's kind of cool. It's almost like sound flashbacks to the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's definitely gives it a bit more flair, if you must. But yeah, then they arrive on Mapuzo. And of course, Leia's just trying to get them a ride and gets them into trouble as usual.
Yeah, she's so funny. Just like, oh yeah, we need a ride. And okay, thanks. Like, no problem, no fear.
Yeah. But the wild thing was we actually got to see Vader's fortress
that was sweet.
On Mustafar again. We haven't seen that since Rogue One, so that's really cool to see that. And just him being, put in the suit. I was actually kind of skeptical on how much Vader we would get in this episode, just because we only got his eyes in the last episode, right? And a little bit of his face there. So I was like, I don't know how much we'll actually get of him, but we got a jam-packed episode of Vader today.
Yeah, that was sweet. I loved seeing Vader's fortress. I feel we only had very small glimpses of it, so it's always nice to see it again. And of course, seeing him getting all dressed is always cool. Like, Hayden Christensen as Vader just looks exactly like he should, which was awesome.
Yeah, definitely cool to have him back. He's definitely getting a warm reception from the fans, and I think that he likes being back, right? So some things that are still confusing for me is, the Inquisitors are obviously bickering in this episode, trying to get that position for Grand Inquisitor, right?
This is confusing to me.
And so, in the last episode, Grand Inquisitor gets a lightsaber through the chest. Canon-wise, he's supposed to still be alive just because, Rebels, he's in Rebels, and that takes place after this, right? So in some ways, I'm thinking that this is just a ploy to see, what can come out of this. So he's probably, in my mind, he's healing somewhere, and they're just, seeing how things play out, not letting them know that the Grand Inquisitor is actually still alive. So for me, this is a test for them. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I agree completely. I don't foresee them, messing up the canon this much. He's not, a small character in Rebels. He's a pretty main character, so he obviously can't be dead if they're going to stick to the canon timeline that they've been creating. So I do agree with you. I think that he is alive somewhere, and he's going to make a grand reappearance before the end of the series, for sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of where my mind is at with this. I guess we'll see how things unfold. And I thought it was wild that, the whole Anakin thing is getting to Obi-Wan so much.
I know.
That he even sees, a vision of him just in the field there.
I couldn't tell if that was, an old version of Anakin, though, or if it was, how he would look, you know what I mean, had he not been all burned.
Yeah, I think it's just supposed to be him not burned. Obviously Hayden's a bit older from 2005.
Yeah.
So I think that, it's from afar. I don't necessarily know if it's supposed to be an older version or not of him, but you can tell it's messing with Obi. And it adds that extra layer of things. You really feel like he's got the fear in him right now. He's
definitely.
I really like the interactions with Obi-Wan and Leia surrounded by the stormtroopers. I thought that added some kind of comic relief in this episode. Just trying to play it off like, oh, they're just some farmers, no big deal. They're actually you know, a Jedi and a princess just on this transport.
Totally. I also find it so funny and kind of weird to see Obi using a blaster, you know, because they're so uncivilized.
Yeah.
And yet that's like obviously his weapon of choice right now, and I just find it's very comical to me. He just obviously is a great shot with the blaster, so I can fully appreciate it, but it's...
Yeah. I honestly feel like they're almost overloading. And then this is probably a discussion that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and guys probably had about this. They were like, you know, based on that one line in episode 3, we're just going to make this, like, over the top. Like, he's using his blaster in, like, every episode. Like, his main weapon of choice. You can tell that they definitely had a conversation. Like, wouldn't it be funny if we really made him use a blaster a lot based on that line? You know, they totally did that. They probably talked about it with Ewan and were like, and he was like, oh, that'd be hilarious. So I'm actually loving that. And yeah, he is a great shot. He's using it way more than his lightsaber.
Right.
And yeah, we finally get...
Indira Varma's character is revealed, which is cool. She was the one who was supposed to meet Obi-Wan and Leia in the field, sent by Haja. And she almost like runs, like, it's like some underground Jedi, like, transport. She just helps Jedi get safe passage, which is also pretty cool because we get mention from Obi-Wan of Quinlan Vos, whose fate is somewhat unknown at this point. So
cool. we know we get confirmation in this episode that he's alive and well, to some extent. And it's cool because it's not just one Jedi; it's a few that she says, you know. But we don't get any names. We don't get anything other than that. So that's kind of cool because maybe we'll get some more Jedi in the series. Some
messages on the wall.
Yeah, I find that funny though. I find that funny that, you know, that there's this room and then they're just like etching some like Jedi stuff on there. I'm like, that's not really inconspicuous, you know, if they found that room. They're just going to be like, well, you're obviously smuggling Jedi based on these doodles. So I don't necessarily know if Jedi would be doing that, but, you know, it adds to kind of like that, oh, there is past Jedi.
Totally.
So I can understand why they have it set like that.
Oh man, and then we get Vader in his prime. And I thought they did such a good job of making him live up to his reputation of being so, like, ruthless and mean and uncaring. And the way he just, like, walks through that town and, like, breaks necks and force chokes people like it's nobody's business. Like, he's scary. Like, he really is scary. And that's something I feel they did a really good job of showing in this episode.
Well, it's like, he knows that Obi's there, so he is just, like, turning on the dark side just to, like, draw him out.
Totally.
And Obi, like, is obviously taking the bait. He can't look away. He can't get away from this. He's abandoning his mission. He's like, take Leia, go do your thing.
He has to help.
And he's just watching. He's like, this is the first time he's seeing Anakin since episode 3, and he's in utter disbelief, right? He's like, oh, this he's real, and he's just watching it, and he feels like he can't do anything. There's a couple Inquisitors, there's a battalion of troops. He's not going to step out there right now, but he's got to draw Vader away.
But even before we see Vader, what I thought was so interesting was how it literally is almost like it rips his heart out. Like, he's so affected by his presence.
It's like he just feels that, like, he feels it, right? And I think that's just adding to that whole... all of his emotions that he's going through from that battle from episode 3 until now, and it comes out in that moment. Like, this is a huge moment for him.
Definitely.
And I think Ewan's doing a great job of playing him right now. He's really nailing this character and what he's going through in this time.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And then again, I didn't think we were gonna get this much Vader. Or an Obi-Wan and Vader fight.
I thought that was getting saved for episode 6 for sure, but
yeah, I don't know. There might be more fights, but this fight was very emotional. You know, Obi's kind of scared. This is the first time he's using his lightsaber in probably 10 years, right?
It's a very one-sided fight.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not even fair in some senses, right? It's like, here's Vader. He's training Inquisitors. He's using his lightsaber every day, and Obi-Wan hasn't touched his at all. And
he hasn't really been in touch with the Force at all either, whereas, like, Vader has been using it every day.
Yeah. So you can see that discrepancy between them. And then you get where Vader's just toying with him.
Totally.
He's just toying with him. He's throwing stuff on the ground. He's lighting it on fire. He wants to give Obi-Wan a taste of what he felt.
Definitely. I was almost waiting for him to chop off his arms and legs and drag him through the fire. You know what I mean? Like.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't. But poor Obi, like, he's just, I don't know. It's just not a fair fight. Like, he's just not what he once was. And it's just, it was sad. It was pretty sad to see. Like, you appreciate the effort that he's putting in and, the bravery that he's showing to face Vader. But it's just, like, kind of a pointless battle in a way because it's very, very one-sided.
Yeah.
If Vader wanted to just be rid of Obi right then and there, he could have.
Yeah. But that's not what he wants. He wants him to suffer.
Definitely.
He doesn't want to just kill him. It's like, all the things that he felt from suffering, like that he went through in episode 3 at the end there. It's like he has this anger directed towards Obi-Wan. And it all comes out there. He's toying with him. He even just kind of lets him get away in a sense. He's just like,
Definitely.
After Obi-Wan gets saved, he's just like, well, I'll catch up with him again.
To be honest, though, I kind of feel it wouldn't be completely out of character, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I almost feel like Vader would want a better fight from Obi-Wan. You know what I mean? Versus just this pitiful, easy win. Mm-hmm. I almost feel like he would want more of Obi-Wan as he was, as his own I don't know, retribution or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's just back in episode 3, it was basically a fair fight in some extent, right?
Both at their prime.
Yeah, and Obi got the high ground and beat him. So it's kind of like he wants him back to where he was, and he wants to retake that battle and show him that he can beat him. Which right now he can, but it's too easy for him. So I feel like in some ways you're right. Yeah, he just let him get away because he wants him back to his full strength, and he wants to fight him at that. So I don't feel like this will be the last fight we get in this series. I hope not. But definitely, even with their lightsaber moves, you're getting that they're both kind of older, right? And you can kind of see the transition from episodes 3 is all these flips to this one. To the one we see in episode 4, right? So we see that kind of transition where it's they're not doing their backflips anymore. It's very much of a slower fight, more emotional.
I do also wonder if this is kind of going to be a turning point now for Obi. He's all burned up, he's damaged, he has been saved, he's been trying to contact Qui-Gon. Is this where he starts to reconnect back with the Jedi? You know what I mean? Is this the turning point? I kind of think it might be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel even based on interviews with Ewan that we've watched, we can see that. He's describing that this story, it definitely tells the tale of this broken man who finds his way again to lead him to where he is in who we see in A New Hope, right? So we're gonna see that transition here, and it is gonna be hard for him in this series, and I feel like it's getting real juicy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to when they meet again.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening now, because obviously Reva has Leia, so Obi's probably gonna have to go after. Something's gonna happen. I don't know if she's gonna necessarily tell Vader and others that she has Leia, or if she's gonna try to say. She's gonna try to get Obi on his own as a way of elevating herself within the ranks. Right, is luring Obi again, having that chess piece that gives her all that power, right, over the other Inquisitors. Is Obi-Wan going to meet other Jedi?
I hope so.
Is he going to talk to Qui-Gon? These are the things that I'm looking forward to.
I just really feel like he needs that inspiration to turn things around, which hasn't. Yeah, he's injured, but I think he needs to meet or talk with either another Jedi or with Qui-Gon to really move forward and be able to actually save Leia.
Yeah. Let's just hope he just heads over to Dagobah next episode.
Right.
Has a quick Yoda talk. And then is on his way. I don't know. Well, I'm interested. I'm interested to see, you know, what sort of things will come in these next episodes.
Definitely. Okay, so in terms of a rating, I'm going to give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. I really thought it advanced the plot. There was lots of action. It was great to see Hayden Christensen return as Vader, and like a very ruthless, like mean Vader. I really liked that. I loved seeing Vader and Obi-Wan meet again, even though their lightsaber battle was very brief. And I really just can't wait to see what happens next. I'm on the edge of my seat. I was sad to see the episode end, so 8.5 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. I thought it was great pacing of the episode. Loved seeing the interactions of Obi and Leia in that past. You know, there's obviously some more to that, and Leia can see that. Like, oh, you must have known my mother, or you my father. Like, I like that interaction. You know, and their interaction with the stormtroopers, all the blasters, you know, tons of action, but most of all that Vader and Obi meet, not only meet but fight, and yeah, it's just great. It's everything we wanted in an episode, and like you said, I didn't want it to end. I was sad for it to end, so yeah, 9 out of 10.
Nice. Okay. And there you have it. Thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think of this episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi? Let us know in the comment section below. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more great videos to come. We hope to see you all again in Leia's Lair.
You are not a Jedi yet.